great day, attractive thinker. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at theattractivethinker.guru. Why do we talk about get to the root? Because that's where real transformation takes place. You always hear us talking about mindset and mental healing and mental strength and living life beyond a break, be it a heartbreak or a break in a success. If you're a part of the attractive thinker community, you understand clearly how you feel after an accomplishment, how you feel after a success or reaching a goal. You know, you're really high when you're creating this idea that you have. And once you create it and you manifest it and share it with the world, now what's next? That's a break. That's the break that we're talking about. How do you live from break to break? I want to encourage you to have your attractive thinker notebook handy today, because you're going to need to capture these lessons and blessings and these gems that we're about to drop today. We're going to shine the light in some areas that are going to really support you in accomplishing your goals, but not just accomplishing your goals, having a healthy mindset while you do that, overcoming the blocks. You know, sometimes when we're pursuing a goal, we encounter some things and we have to exert a lot of energy. It takes a lot out of us to keep overcoming hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. But if you have these attractive thinker tools in place, you have the resources that you need, so you don't have to put forth so much effort to overcome a hurdle. You know, you can overcome something easier when you have the right tools. Welcome, my co-host Tichet Bradshaw, to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance.
Happy Mindset Monday, everybody. Yes, we made it again. We'll make it again and again to do. This week, we get to do what we've never did. We get to go where we've never gone. We get to have all that we ever wanted to have in this lifetime. Everything is a possibility, but as usual, it's a great day to be
It
alive.
is a fantastic and amazing day to be alive. I want you to think about that. And it has nothing to do with our circumstances or what we're facing or going through in our lives, or, you know, where we even are right now. Just the mere fact that we're able to partake in this beautiful experience of breath and experiencing life, these physical, these senses that we have, we're able to hear, see, smell, taste, touch, experience. You can hear a friend or a loved one, you can touch them, you can hug them. You know, that's a great day to be alive. You know, you may be pain free even if your foot hurts, the rest of your body doesn't hurt. That's a great day to be alive. You know, you can always find some kind of reason to celebrate, to be grateful. You know, in the morning when we have our mental breakfast, as attractive thinkers do, we're always, you know, highlighting what we're grateful for. You don't want to just come into this presence and asking for things or anticipating things or always have a goal or something that you want to accomplish. You want to come grateful. Have you ever had that experience to share? Sometimes you just want to say thank you. Sometimes you
Yes.
just want to say thank you. You don't want to ask for anything or pursue anything or anticipate anything. And I had that experience this morning. I just want to say thank you. I'm grateful that my bones work, and I'm grateful that I get the opportunity to share this space and time with you, to shed in with the attractive thinker generation and the visual
Mm-hmm.
encouragers. I'm just
Yes.
grateful for that, because we don't have to have this opportunity. You know, we could be doing something else, or have something else, you know, mastering our lives, but we
Yeah.
chose to take the gifts that we've been given and share them with the world, because they have really been a blessing to us, and they bless
Mm-hmm.
us all the time, every day. It's not just they blessed us while we were going through it, but they bless us all the time, all throughout the day. And we just want to share these lessons and blessings with the attractive thinker generation and the visual encouragers around the world. We thank you for your comments. We thank you for clicking like and sharing these powerful messages and truths with your circle of influence. We're excited, you know, that you have your copy of The Attractive Thinker on Amazon, because we're going to be talking about page 430 today. Page 430 if your heart isn't in it. We're going to be referencing a little bit of that today, but I'm excited that you have your copy. This is a 726 page, full color, hardcover transformational experience. It's not a one read, it's not a book, it's not a story. This is a full transformation. It's impossible for you to read this experience and the light not come on for you. It's impossible to read it and you not get an answer for some particular area of your life. So I want you to make sure, if you haven't already done so, you definitely want to get your copy on Amazon today. So for the attractive thinkers that do have their copy, we're going to be referencing page 430 today. Today we're going to be talking about, I know you may have experienced this as well, Tichet, but I have a very clear defining moment about this topic today. I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. You ever get to that place in your life whereas you keep putting out and keep giving and giving and keep working on this goal and keep accomplishing, these things, these steps and these action steps, just keep taking all this action, and you look around and you may be accomplishing some things, but you're just not where you want to be. You're just not where you thought you'd be after all these years. After all the time and the effort and the energy you put in, you're just not where you thought you'd be, and that can be frustrating. That can be disappointing. It can weigh on your self-worth. You mentioned earlier a scripture that says hope deferred makes the heart sick. It can physically make you sick. It can mentally, spiritually, emotionally make you sick when you have this hope and it just keeps getting pushed off and pushed off and pushed off, and you're not seeing results. And I got to that point in my life. And here's the thing, Tisha, I was doing it and I wasn't aware of how stressed out I was in that process. I wasn't aware of how much energy I was actually exerting in this particular experience. Because when you're putting out, you're not thinking about anything else but getting the job done or accomplishing or showing up. You just keep showing up and showing up and showing up until one day you realize, you say, I'm exhausted. I
Mm-hmm.
am really exhausted. I am tired. And sometimes it takes a defining moment for it to come up out of your spirit. I'm tired. You could be tired and not even say it. You could be tired and not express it. You could be tired and not even tell anybody until something happens and you say, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired and I can't do this anymore. And when I reached that place, to shut, see, when you get to that place, you have to reach out. I knew within myself that I needed something other than me for support. So I had to reach out. And when I reached out, and I said that, and everybody around me knows if I say that, they know everything stops. Like, what happened? What's going on, because I'm positive and I'm hopeful and I'm always, have a forward thinking mindset. If I ever express that I'm tired, I'm exhausted, or this is too much or whatever, it's a game changer. So when I reached out, the person that I called, they were out and about enjoying their day. Within about 15 minutes, they were standing in my face because I said I was tired and I can't do this anymore. And I was a part of something that was really, I was giving more than what I was receiving. Have you ever been a part of something and you have these high hopes that this is going to be something amazing for you? You're giving in an area that you're gifted in, meaning you love what you're doing, but it's not giving you the return, because you could be in your right lane using your gift and be using it in the wrong direction, or be using it around the wrong kind of people or in the wrong environment, and you're not going to get the result that you're looking for. And you might be saying to yourself, well, I'm doing the right thing, you know or these are the action steps that you take to reach the goal, but your desire and your action steps are not all the factors involved in a full manifestation of the thing that you desire. It
Mm-hmm.
could be the environment. It could be the people in it. And sometimes, I know down through the years, there were people in my life that I really couldn't see myself saying, you know what, we're going to have to set some boundaries. I couldn't see myself saying that. But if you've had that experience before and you keep putting out, and you're getting the same response and nothing of value on the other end, then you get to a point. See, that's the missing link. A lot of times, we may be tired, but we're not at the point whereas we're willing to not to pull away or to not do that anymore or to detach or to make a change. As a coach, down through the years, I've coached attractive thinkers on how to write their books and how to launch their business ideas. And of course, before we can even get to that, we got to get to the internal stuff that's blocking you from doing that or that's causing the fear, that's stopping you from doing that. And I understand that a lot of times attractive thinkers could be doing things and saying they're tired of doing it, but they find themselves doing it again because they're not tired enough. Tichet, talk to us. I'm tired and I can't take it anymore.
It's what you just said. I'm not tired enough.
Mm,
When you get that enough on the end of that, I'm tired, is when changes will take place.
mm,
Because as long as you're willing to put up with whatever it is that's making you tired, um, you're not going to make the change. When we are uncomfortable or in pain, nothing changes a thing like pain,
mm,
right? As long as you are comfortable with whatever you got going on and you can tolerate it, you'll put up with it until you get to the point where you can't take it no more. But then, see, when you can't take it no more comes up, I feel like, to me, that's a way of the next level calling you, right? Because when you can't take it no more, something made you so uncomfortable that it pushed you to do something different. You seeing a blessing that's wrapped in a newspaper, right? You have something, it didn't look so good. It was a gift wrapped in newspaper, right? So a lot of times we look at the circumstances and the situation and the hardness and the irritation and the tiredness, and we think, that how can that be a gift? Because as long, if that situation was not wrapped up like that, you would have stayed in there. But because it was wrapped up in a newspaper, it caused you to not desire the paper. It caused you to move to the gift,
mm,
right? And so you got to look beyond the paper in order for you to focus on the gift. The paper is not your life. All that you've had to endure is not your life. Your life is the lessons and the blessings that you have taken along the way, but the pain of it is not what's supposed to be your life. Your life is not pain. Another thing I wanted to say, Dr. Toni, you said something about setting boundaries, and I wanted to remind people about having healthy boundaries when you're on your journey, right? Because when we say, I am tired of this, I can't do anymore, a lot of times it's because people have been in relationships, in situations, in circumstances that where the people they were trusting to be in that space has crossed too
mm,
many boundaries,
mm,
or the people that they wanted to help, or the people that they are attached to. It could be a loved one, a friend, or somebody that you feel responsible for has put more on your shoulders, along with the stuff that you have, your business, your visions, your goal, and your natural life stuff on your other shoulder, and you have their stuff on this shoulder, right? And so you feel weighed down because you feel like you don't have the support and the help that you need in order for you to carry their stuff and our stuff. So when you set boundaries, you no longer carry other people's stuff. You carry your stuff, but there's some stuff you're going to have to put down on your stuff too. You know how to care for people without having to carry their stuff.
mhm,
You know how to interact with people and give them words of wisdom and give them the help without taking away the energy from yourself. And the only way you can do that is to set some healthy boundaries. Boundaries is necessary on your journey towards manifestation, because without boundaries, you'll allow people to always hold you back, right? Nothing can hold you back except you. And the reason why I say that, because you have to decide what can hold you back. You have to decide to allow people to the ability to keep crossing boundaries that allows you to step back out of your business or to step back off your vision in order to attend what they got going on. You have to allow that. The thing is you don't have to do anything. That's one of the things that released me, is realizing that just because somebody said it doesn't mean I have to do it, doesn't mean I have to be it, and doesn't mean I have to take it, right? And so when you have people that's holding you back, this is where the process of letting go happens. But what if that person is a parent or an elder you're taking care of, or your children? So this is again where healthy boundaries take place, because your vision should not be something that needs to be compromised. It should not be something that is on the table for not doing for you, right? Everybody has desires, needs, and goals. Why is their desires, needs, and goals more important to you than your own? Right? If theirs is important to them, but yours have to be just as important. It's not that you can't do stuff for people. Do stuff for people, but do it in the right energy where you have energy. And the way to do it in the right energy where you have energy is to see results of some of the stuff you've been doing for yourself. When you are tired, and you're saying, I am tired of this, you have to get clarity about what this is. What exactly are you tired of? Are you tired of the relationship, or are you tired of what's coming out of that relationship? Are you tired of the disrespect? Are you tired of the lack of support? What are you tired of, so that you can make sure that when you get out of this situation, you don't go create it in another place. What I mean by that is sometimes environment, like you said, Dr. Toni, earlier, sometimes it can be your environment. Environment matters, right? When you're in part of an environment and it's causing you to be this person that you don't recognize, and it makes you feel heavy because you're not quite the person you wanted to be, because in this environment you have to be like so hard. I'll use myself an example, right? I was working in a place, and this place caused me to be this hard person where I'm always had to kind of like be defensive, or I felt like they were going to take over, right? And so it caused me to have this toughness, but it caused me to be tougher all around where I didn't need toughness, right? And so at the end of the day, I wanted to be a little softer. I didn't want to be so hard all the time. I didn't want to have to be in your face so all the time, but you had to, in order for them not to roll over you, right? Or in order for you not to be bullied in an adult job, right? And so when that environment had caused me to be something I did not want to do, which caused me to produce something I did not want to produce, and I got tired, right? But what I needed to be clear about is why this environment was making me into something that I didn't want to be. What about that environment was I tired of, that was causing me to be something I did not want to be? So that when I get out of this particular job, when I go to another job, I'm not bringing this environment with me to a new job. Because it's possible to take the old environment into a new environment. If you don't allow yourself to release it, you'll start packing up all the stuff that's in there and taking the same crap to the next place. And that's not what we want to do. We want a new life, a newness of life, a journey. We don't want to keep experiencing the same thing over and over and over again. So if we are experiencing the same thing over and over and over and over again, the common denominator is you. The common denominator is what you are allowing. The common denominator is what you are willing to tolerate. So we have to begin to look at, what are we tired of, and why are we tolerating what we're tired of? And then when you get to the point where you start looking at what you're tolerating, and then you have the audacity, the courage to say, I'm not tolerating this no more, then you will see a change. That change came from a decision. Remember, we talked about last week, happiness is a decision. It starts with a decision. It starts with a decision to say, hey, I'm setting this healthy boundary. I'm not letting you run me over anymore. I'm not your pushover. I'm not your doormat. I'm not holding all this stuff by myself. It's saying, hey, I can carry this, but that's too heavy for me. I can't carry that. You're gonna have to get somebody else to carry that, right? It's the ability to say no to things that you do not want to participate. I was just telling somebody that no is a complete sentence. It needs no excuse. Me not wanting to do something should be enough of a reason for the people who's supposed to love me to be okay with knowing why I said no. So I'll restate that. If I'm saying no and you so-called love me, right? Me not wanting to should be enough for you. Why? Because you shouldn't want me to do something I don't want to do if you care for me. You don't want me to make you do stuff you don't want to do. So why would a person want to inflict that on you? So this is again where boundaries come into play. You don't want to have to keep filling your schedule up with stuff you don't want to do, stuff that don't give you passion, stuff that don't have no reward, stuff that give you results in something you don't want to do. You got consistency in the wrong thing where you're consistent in supporting people, but you're not consistent in supporting your own vision. You're not consistent in supporting where you said you wanted to go. You have to have that same consistency. You got to keep that same energy where you were able to say yes to everybody for everything. Now you say yes to yourself. That's where we are in this journey. We're saying yes to ourselves. We're saying yes to boundary. We're saying yes to clarity. We're saying yes to our vision. Our vision is not on the table for us not to do, because in our vision, when we start seeing results, that energizes us, Dr. Toni. We're tired because we're not seeing the results that we want. When you see a result that you want, it gives you a little bit more motivation. It gives you a little bit more energy. It allows you to be rejuvenated so that you can keep going. It put gas in your tank when you start seeing some of the results. It make you say, oh, this is working. Push some more. It's working. But if you don't see something is working, you're less likely want to do it. You're less likely want to do any of it because you feel like you're doing something for nothing and nobody wants to do that. So consistency is definitely key when we're on our journey. But how does a person keep consistency? Dr. Toni, this is a question that I want to ask for you. How does a person go from desire to manifestation with consistency? But how does a person develop that consistency coming from desire and manifestation?
Got it. Got it. It's a great question. I love that. How, because attractive thinkers and visual encouragers, we have goals, we have desires, dreams, and ideas that we desire to fulfill and to experience and to create. I say my famous phrase, we're here to create, live, and leave a legacy that speaks when we no longer can. So we're always creating, as creators, we're always going to be creating. There are desires that sometimes, to shed, or should I say a lot of times, they don't get manifested. People come and go and they die with their dream inside of them. So in order to go from desire to manifestation, this is one thing that I know as a guarantee that will help us go from desire to manifestation, and that is consistency. Whatever it might be. You don't have to be religious or spiritual to be consistent. You don't have to be black or white or brown or purple or yellow or orange to be consistent. You don't have to be rich or poor or fat or skinny. It doesn't matter. It doesn't consider any of those factors. Consistency comes with its own power, its own principles, and its own benefits. Along with consistency comes benefits. When you step into the energy of consistency, there are things that will happen with ease that you hadn't even considered. You're not going to have to use so much effort when you're consistent. So how do we, people struggle with consistency, Tichet. So if consistency is the key to moving from desire to manifestation, why are we struggling with consistency? And I wrote some things down while you were talking. Um, some of the things that people experience, when trying to be consistent, because if you're not consistent, you're procrastinating, you find yourself saying things that you're going to do that you don't do. You're not getting up at the time that in the morning that you say you're going to get up. Consistency is like, it has almost the same power and effect. I would call it as congruent as a routine or a habit. We understand clearly how powerful habits are. And when you're stepping into the energy of consistency, you're stepping into power. I want you to understand that attractive thing. And that power is there to help you accomplish your goal. That power is there to open doors that you can't open by yourself, all because you were consistent. So you hear sometimes, and I get asked this question, when I'm speaking on different platforms, like, what was your process to this level of success that you're at right now? Or what did it take for you to get here? Or what can you attribute? That's a big question, a common question, so to speak, that I hear asked all of the time. What do you attribute to your success? Or what was the defining moment? What was the turning point? And when I look at the whole picture, the whole spectrum, I can clearly see that it was consistency, because whereas I was relying on one thing, if that failed or ran out, or went away, and I was still consistent, I still had a chance of reaching my goal. People, you rely on certain people for support. If they get tired of supporting you, if you're still consistent, you can still reach your goal. People, relationships run out, money runs out, you don't have enough time in the day to do all that you want to do, but if you're consistent the next day, you still have an opportunity to reach your goal. While you were talking to Shet, I'm thinking about, we talked about the word enough. You said when we're tired, we can still be tolerating, you know
Mm-hmm.
you say, I'm tired, I can't do this anymore, but what would keep you doing that? What would keep a person doing something that they're tired of? And I started making a list of some things that were coming to my mind while you were talking. And these are things that people don't consider. You consider the physical environment, the external things outside of you, because you can see them. And 9 times out of 10, if you ask somebody what's holding them back, they're going to name something external. But the internal things, the invisible, the intangible things, are the things that we cannot see. And those are the core things that are stopping people from being consistent or continuing to do something that they're tired of. So tolerating is one of them. Now, you might say, well, Dr. Toni, I understand, what tolerating is. I understand I'm tolerating it. That's why I'm in it. I'm experiencing this because I keep tolerating it. But I want you to go deeper with toleration. There are levels of tolerance that we have. And based on our childhood experiences, sometimes our toleration might not even be a word, but we're going to use it today. Our toleration meter is too high. If you've had experiences, not just in childhood, but even as adult, traumatic things happen, or deeply disappointed. It doesn't always have to be trauma, but deeply disappointed in something or someone, or faulty beliefs, things that you have believed all your life and you found out that they weren't true, but they've consumed a lot of your life, years of your life. That level of that number one, that can be traumatic, and it can also position you to continue to tolerate and take things like that in the years going forward. And what happens is, when opportunities show up in your space, or you find yourself in situations that are killing your spirit, situations that are depressing you, situations that make you feel sad, and you're sad and you're trying to leave it, or you're trying to move away from it, and you can't. It's like your feet are ankle deep in cement. This environment, or this group of people, or this thing that you're doing, or this position that you're in, is not feeding you or fueling you, and you're still there. There's a strong attachment to what you don't want. That means you're deeply attached to what you believe more in what you don't want than what you do want. You have faith more in what you don't want than what you do want. You think that where you are right now is more peace, more joyful, more peaceful, more sufficient than where you're going. You don't have a brighter vision for where you're going. The joy of the vision is not greater than the pain of where you are. And these are things that we have to consider. When I say your toleration meter is too high, that means you're taking things that you aren't supposed to be taking. You're dealing with and you're settling with and you're coping with and settling for things that we as human beings aren't designed and wired to handle that kind of pressure consistently like that. The body can't handle that consistently like that. It puts the body in a state of stress, and you walk around in a constricted state, and it affects your blood pressure, it affects your heart rate, it affects your mental capacity and your clarity. See, these are things that people don't consider, and these are the things that we share with the attractive thinker generation, because we give you tools. That's why I say you have to get this book that's on Amazon, because we talk about the coping mechanisms. When you're settling, you're also coping. So we hear you say, I'm tired and I can't do this anymore, that means you have a strong attachment to what you don't want. You have settled into a routine and a habit, and you're doing something to cope with that. You're doing something to cope with that kind of situation. The second thing that came to me, Tichet, was you said nothing can hold you back except you. So what I wrote down was you have to assess who or where you've given your power to
Mm-hmm.
and why. If nothing it can hold you back but you, and you feel held back, then who's holding you back? What is holding you
Mm-hmm.
back? You got to assess that. If you have the power to move forward and you're not moving forward, it calls for an assessment as to, okay, what's going on? Are my ankles tied? Are my wrists tied? Is my heart tied up into something that I can't let go of? Are my thoughts tied into something that a thought that I can't get over? Things like that. So I wrote down, anytime we're doing something that is exhausting us or we no longer desire to do it, there's a strong attachment to what you don't desire. Meaning, you have a strong attachment to not having your needs met. And you got to
Mm-hmm.
dig that up. You got to dig it up and find out where you got that from. Find out what
Mm-hmm.
happened. When did this happen? When was there a time in my life that I didn't have my needs met and it was devastating to me? Because maybe you've created a belief that you're not worthy of having your needs met, and that's what's keeping you tolerating what you don't want. So you have to get down to the root of that. And like I said, the attractive thinker experience on Amazon will help you get to the root. We have exercises in there that help you get down to the root of what is keeping you planted in a place that you don't want to be, or what's holding you back from your dream, or writing your book or starting your business. There's something holding you back. If year after year you find yourself saying that you're going to write the book and start the business and you haven't done it, we got to start getting to the roots. We got to do an assessment and find out, why haven't I moved forward? What is holding me back? And 9 times out of 10, it's not something visible or tangible, it's invisible and intangible. So the attractive thinker movement is all about helping you go inside, giving you the tools that you need to go inside. Everybody doesn't know how to do that. And then once they get in there, they're afraid of what they see and what they find, or they don't know how to deal with what they see or what they find. And we have the tools to support you in doing that. So I mentioned that people focus more on and believe more in what they don't want and what could go wrong, Tichet. You're not going to move forward out of something that is even hurting you if moving forward means all you see is what could go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to move forward into something like that. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
monster standing at the end of the road and you're trying to go to the store. If you see a monster there, no matter what you need from that store, you're not going in that direction, because
Mm-hmm.
what that direction is scary to you, even though it's something that you need down that way. So if the vision that you have of your life going forward, your vision of being an author, a speaker, a coach, a singer, a dancer, a philanthropist, or traveling the world, or transforming your life, changing your identity, giving yourself a new look, whatever that might be, if that looks scary to you, if there's something about that vision that scares you, you're not going to take the action to move forward towards it. So you have to address that, and you have to get the proper perspective of the vision. Is it really a vision if it's scary? And I don't mean, because yeah, visions are scary, but they also come with joy. Is it really a vision if you don't see any joy in what's ahead of you, or what you said your goal is, or what you're trying to accomplish? Is that really a vision? I mean, would that really be a vision to shed if I sit here and say, I have a goal of doing this and that and the other, but it's scary. I don't see any joy in it. Like after I accomplish it, I'll be so, excited after I accomplish it, or I desire to accomplish it because this could change, this could happen, this and this is going to be better, da da da. If I don't see any of that, then is it really a vision? Is it even a goal? Like where did you get it from? Who told you to pursue that? So you have to assess that area. Why am I pursuing this? If you find yourself in a space in life that you're not happy, it calls for an assessment. Something is out of alignment. Either this is not my desire. Somebody told me that I should do this, or somebody asked me to do it because they thought I was gifted and talented to do it. And it really wasn't a passion of mine, or I'm doing the right thing in the wrong environment. Yes, I'm gifted and talented in this area, but I'm not supposed to be connected to this environment or these people. I need a new environment and a new group of people to do it, to accomplish this goal. You have to think about that because you can have the right seeds, but if you plant them in the wrong environment, you're not going to get the right fruit. Okay. So another thing that came up before me to shed is another reason why we would stay in a situation that we're tired of and we feel like we're just exhausted, we can't do it anymore, is because we feel powerless to do anything about it. We don't feel as though we have the power. We don't know we can change. We don't know that we can change the situation. You don't think that you can do anything that will improve it. You don't believe in your efforts. You forgot the power that you have. You don't believe in your magnificence. You don't believe that you're the change agent. When you move, things move. You forgot that you are the captain of this ship in your life, that you're driving in your life. So you might feel powerless, and feeling powerless is a dangerous thing to shed because it will have you place yourself in environments where you're being bulldozed over, run over, taken advantage of, wrung out like a rag, not appreciated, taken for granted, misunderstood, all because you forgot that you're powerful and you're
Mm-hmm.
not powerless. You believe that this is the way it's going to be. That's why you find yourself in a situation that you want to get out of, that you can't get out of. You can't find a way out because you settled to believe that this is just how it's going to be. Or here's another one. You can't be happy in everything.
Mm.
So if you believe that, then you pick and choose something to stay miserable in because you believe that you can't be happy in everything. Okay, I'm happy with my health. I'm happy in my relationship. I'm happy with my money. I might not be happy in my environment or where I got to do my business or whatever. Or I might not like this thing that I have to do, or this thought. It could be a thought, a belief system, a thought pattern. That you feel stuck in and you're tired of thinking that way. I had a client like that. She didn't want to write a book. She didn't want to start a business. She didn't want to accomplish anything. She just wanted to think better. She got tired of her debilitating thoughts and she wanted to
Mm.
think a new thought. She hired me. She wanted to have coaching sessions on thinking and how to apply appropriate thinking because her thoughts were beating her up.
That's powerful, actually. Yeah.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That said a lot to me about her and the level of love that she had for herself, that she would step up to the plate and say, I want to think a new thought and I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to hire someone to help me think a new thought. It said a lot. That was half the battle right there. That was half the battle right there. So another thing that came to me to shut was you don't believe the reason why people stay in situations that they're tired of because they don't believe that if they leave this or stop doing this, then something else profitable is going to take place and that's something greater than what they're experiencing right now. They don't think that they can actually change their lives.
Mm-hmm.
They think those variables are external. Those factors are external. Those aren't things that are within their control. We talked about feeling powerless. You have become comfortable with the routine and the way things are. If you find yourself in a space that you no longer desire and you're tired and you can't find a way out, it could be number one, if you've been doing it long enough, you are comfortable with the way things are. And when I what I say what I mean when I say that is a part of you is sick and tired. Another part of you has gotten into the groove, into the routine and the habit, and it's comfortable right there. So much so that if you do one thing different, you're going to disrupt the whole system. And you're going to feel
Mm,
it in your energy, you're going to feel it in your thoughts, you're going to feel it in your environment. And when that change begins to happen in you, don't think people don't see that change. And you might get comments like, oh, so you think you cute, or oh, so you think you all that, oh, so you think you're better than us, or who do you think you are? Because don't think people don't notice that shift inside of you. They're going to notice it because it's all energy and it's coming off of you. When you decide to no longer tolerate what you can't take anymore, people are going to see that. They're going to feel that energy. People stay too long to shed. And I've had this experience in my own life, staying too long in a situation because I didn't think that getting out of it would make any difference. I'm like, get out of this and do what? Get out of this and
mm-hmm,
go where? Get out of this. Okay, when I get out of this, I still got life to live and face and deal with. Get out of this and do what? And when you're
mm-hmm,
in that kind of mindset, you say, well, I might as well just accept this. At least I know what this is. I don't want to go out there and then have to learn a whole new test and trial, or get stuck in a whole nother rut, you know. That mindset needs to be done away with because that's the mindset that's creating this vicious cycle of always placing us in environments that don't serve us. They don't fuel us, they don't feed us. So it's the mindset. You got to get rid of that mindset and have a brighter vision for a brighter day. Because brighter days are not just ahead, brighter days are today. It's a great day to be alive today. And you got to get a vision for that. That's why we emphasize that on these broadcasts. It is a fantastic and amazing day to be alive today, right now, today. And if you can have a vision that's that bright for today and you repeat it again tomorrow, you'll be creating a habit of anticipating and looking forward to a brighter day. Understanding that what's ahead of you is brighter than what's behind you. And you begin to train yourself to expect greatness, expect favorable outcomes, understanding that your nature, your very nature is prosperity, understanding you always win, things are always working out for you. And they're supposed to because of who you are and who we all are on this planet. Something incredible and powerful created us and placed us here. That alone is fantastic and amazing. All of our hearts are beating around the world. Everybody that's breathing, your heart is beating right now while my heart is beating. Think about that. How fantastic and amazing is that? All of the ideas that are floating around the world right now, that is incredible. All of the hands that are being put to different things that are created right now while you're listening to this message. Hands, millions of hands are being placed to parts and pieces. And the idea is connected with the hand and the thought. And the idea is saying, put this piece to that part and place this above and take this below. And before you know it, you've created and manifested something so incredibly beautiful. That's fantastic and amazing. That's making it a great day to be alive because you're activating your power. You're being consistent with your power, your creative power. And it's not dependent upon your educational level. It's not dependent upon your race or your size or your money or your past. That's a big one. People allow their past to dictate their future, to determine their future. Well, if this happened to me back then, what's going to stop it from happening to me up here? Well, if I procrastinated back then, I know I'm going to procrastinate. I had somebody say that to me one time. Dr. Toni, don't ask me to do something because I don't keep my word. They said that to me because I don't keep my word. Well, you may not have kept your word in the past, but can you develop enough trust in yourself to keep your word in the future? The future hasn't even happened yet. And so when you say I don't keep my word, you're basing it off the past. You're predicting your future.
Mm-hmm.
Future hasn't even happened yet. So you're predicting going forward that you're not going to keep your word when you have the power to keep your word. You got to practice it. Consistency. Be consistent with keeping your word, and you become a person that people view as a person that keeps their word. See, when we get see Tichet, I'm telling you right now, one of the biggest things that hold us back is how we see ourselves, what we think of ourselves. If you think of yourself as a loser, that's the biggest thing to get over. It's not so much what other people say. The biggest thing I've had to get over in my life is what I say to myself,
Mm-hmm.
not what people say to me, what I say to me, because that's what matters the most. And what I've found out in my life when I was struggling with consistency, it wasn't the consistency that I was struggling with. It was the other things that I could not see that was affecting my consistency. And those were the things that needed to be addressed in order for me to move forward. You don't just stand there and say, I'm sick and tired, or I can't do this anymore. And then you wake up tomorrow and you say, I'm sick and tired, and I can't do this anymore. After a while, like you said in the beginning, enough. If you're sick and tired, enough after a while, one morning you're going to wake up and say, what can I do to change this? Because I can't do this anymore. Not
Mm-hmm.
just I can't, but I won't. It might be scary going forward in the beginning, but I'll get used to it. I'm just going to have to get used to it because I can't do this anymore. Back to you, Tasha.
You know, the thing I was thinking about just now is wanting and willing is two different things, right?
Mm-hmm,
Everybody wants something,
mm-hmm,
but what are you willing to do is what happens. And I think I said this last week as well. If you are willing to take a step in another direction, then that gets done. When you want to take a step in a direction, that only gets considered. So we have to shift from considering stuff to being willing to step out and do something about it. Because until we're willing to do something about it, things remain the same. You know, one of the things also I was thinking, Dr. Toni, is our joy has to be bigger than our fear,
yes.
right? Because we can be going in a direction and wanting the consistency, but if the joy for the results is not there, then you'll allow any excuse to come in to say, "Oh, I couldn't do it because."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I couldn't do it. You'll let any excuse to do. I couldn't do it because it was raining. I couldn't do it because I had skipped a breath. You'll say anything. And if the joy is not there, right? You'll make up any excuse. When
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about the person who said, don't ask me nothing because I don't keep my word, he didn't have the desire to keep his word at that time, or her. You know, they didn't have the desire to keep their word. Because if they did, they were willing to keep their word, they will keep their word. So until we have that will to do something different, we're not going to see any change. We're going to keep tolerating. You're going to have the habit of tolerating things that don't serve you. Have the habit of tolerating disrespect. Have the habit of
Mm-hmm.
tolerating being used. Have the habit of tolerating being tired. You know, over and over again. The habit. Can you imagine the habit of being tired? You
Yes.
have the how do you break habits? You have to introduce a new habit in
Mm.
order to break an old habit. And the thing is the moment that you start that journey is the moment that things begin to change. The
Mm.
moment you stop the journey is the moment you start retreating back to the same.
Mm.
So consistency again is key in order to make a habit an actual thing
Mm.
into manifestation, right? Because if you start trying to develop habits but you stop too soon, your body is going to go back to the default way of thinking.
That's right. As soon as you
So for me, in order for me to come out of depression, I had to change my default way of thinking. I
mm,
had to change my default way of being, and I had to change my default way of doing. So I had to change something on the in a spirit level first. I had to make sure my spirit was taken care of before I made sure my externals was taken care of. Because if I knew my spirit was good, and my mentals was good, it will give me enough to do whatever physical I needed to do to get to my vision. But if your spirit is not good and your energy and your is depleted and your emotions is all over the place, how do we expect to have the energy or the consistency to do anything regardless of the vision, and rather we want it to come to pass or not? How are we going to have that strength? So your joy will give you strength, but you have to be willing to have it in alignment with the health of your spirit and the health of your emotion, so that you can have the strength to do what joy is calling you to do. But if your fear is bigger than your joy, that's one aspect you're missing, because then you'll be dictated by your fear. You won't do it afraid because your fear is bigger than your joy, right? And so you can have your spirit, you might have gotten your spirit together or not together, but you might have some clarity in your spirit, because if you have your spirit together, your spirit is going to tell you what's ahead, or your spirit is going to tell you when you're operating in the right environment, or you're operating in the right business, or you're doing the right thing. So if you got your spirit together, your spirit, your intuition, all of that will tell you whether you're on the wrong path or not, right? But if your emotions is all over the place and your emotions is heavy and your energy is depleted, rather or not you have joy for, you can say, I desire to live in a mansion, right? Just to pick something simple. I desire to live in a mansion. I desire to lose weight. I desire to be rich. You can have all those desires, and you can think in your head how wonderful that's going to be to have those things, to live in that house, to have that body, to do this, how wonderful it's going to be. If your emotions is all over the place at the same time, you're not going to stay consistent. So you're missing a variable. You got the joy, you just don't have the stability that's needed, or the health that's needed in the energy, in the mental energy and the spiritual energy. You're missing a element that equates to you manifesting, right? And so we have to get to the point where we take care of our spirit, and anybody that loves you will not object to you taking care of yourself. The audacity of people getting mad because I won't tolerate disrespect anymore.
My God.
The audacity. And then the way that we would just allow it and really care about their audacity. Like we would really care that they're mad, that we won't take the disrespect anymore. Like we have to flip the script. We have to allow ourselves to know that we matter, that our spirit, our health, I say this week after week, we matter. Your desires matter. Your health matters. All of it matters. And until you understand that position, nothing will change, because you'll keep letting other people matter over you, their decisions, their desires, their lives, the things that they want, their agendas. You'll let their agendas matter over yours, so you'll keep putting yours to the sideline. I'm not putting my health to the sideline no more to please anybody.
That's right.
Because 9 times out of 10, you're crossing oceans and rivers for people who won't cross puddles for you. And we have to get to a point where we have to understand what type of relationships we are dealing with, where people that you're crossing rivers and ocean will look at a puddle and say, I can't, because you know. And so we have to assess those and make sure there's some reciprocity going on in these relationships. There's some give and take, so I'm not always giving myself away. You know, we don't want relationships where you have to consistently give yourself away and nothing is given back to you. You know, there should be some give and take. There should be some type of consistency between the two, where everybody puts in the pot. Not one person always working hard to put in the pot and the other person just like, here, I'll just take that. Thanks. Thanks for giving. Thanks. I can't pay my bills with thanks. What am I supposed to bill with thanks? It's good to have gratitude, right? We have gratitude. But sometimes the best way of saying thank you to a person is letting them see that you took what they had and you made something of it. The best sorry somebody can give you is change. Don't come to me with sorry and you still gonna do the same thing. Boop, I'm sorry. Boop, I'm sorry. Boop, I'm sorry. No, stop this.
My God.
Let's see you not do this before you apologize. But that's the thing. We have to get out of our old habits and be willing to go forth in building a new habit and having the consistency of the building of the new habit, but seeing that the joy of that new habit it awaits us, and developing a passion along the way. Because if you have a passion for it, you got endless energy.
Mm-hmm.
Passion will give you endless energy. And so when you have a passion for something and it gives you the energy to move forward, you can face anything. You'll say, oh, I'll fight whatever wolf is waiting right here, because that right there, I must have it. It's not up for debate. I must have that. I will have that. That will is strong.
Yeah.
Because in your entire 24 hours of the day, the only thing that got done was your will in your life. You were willing to go to work. You might felt like you had to. Technically, you didn't. Technically, you could have said, I'm done with that. I'm just gonna go and find something else. But you were willing to get up and get dressed and go and give the people your energy and time before you gave it to yourself. You was willing to do that. You were willing to go to an event you didn't want to go to keep people from being mad at you. You were willing to build a relationship with somebody who don't even treat you with the bare minimum respect before you decided to go and respect yourself. Right? And so we got to get to the point where we shift all of that in order for us to see a change. So all the things that you tired of has to come to a place where it's not an option no more.
Yeah.
It's not an option for me to be weighed down. It's not an option for me to be depressed. It's not an option for me to be broke. It's not an option for me to not have my desires met. It's not an option for me not to be disrespected. We have to have all those things, and we have to say it's not an option for me not to reach my vision any longer. That vision is a must. Say what you want to say about me, but say it to me while I'm over here. You can say it over there while I'm building this over here. I'll take every lemon you throw at me and I'll make some lemonade and then sell it. But I'm going to make a profit off of whatever it is. I'm not going to sit here and just be sour faced.
That's right.
I will take nothing and make it into something.
Yes.
Make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Because having nothing is not an option.
That's right. My God.
The thing is a lot of times we see ourselves falling in certain situations. And that's not even the case. You're not even designed to fall in that situation. We're designed to fly in certain situations, but we got to give ourselves a fighting chance in order to see that. We have to see that we have the ability to fly. We have the ability to do amazing things beyond what our imagination can come up with. There's some things out here that's waiting for us to have some self-acceptance, that's waiting for us to have some healthy boundaries, that's waiting for us to make a choice and then take the will of that choice, put it together, and go forward in a journey and be willing to take the joy and make it a big thing so that we can have the energy to defeat whatever it is in our path. Some people can take rocks and turn it into a mountain. It don't have to be a mountain. It's a rock. Jump over it, go around it, throw it out the way. Anything. Speak to it if you have to.
My God.
Every rock is not a mountain. But if we stop at every rock and complain that the rock is in our path, we are limiting ourselves. We are getting in the way, right? And because we're focused on whatever is in the path that does not belong there. We can't be so focused on the things that don't belong there more than we're focused on the things that do. So we have to shift what we focus on in order for what we want to manifest to grow. We got to shift that focus. Another thing I wanted to address, Dr. Toni, is it is possible for people who want the manifestation of the vision And they're so tired because when they got the desire, they like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to lose weight. But when they thought about all they had to do to get there, oh, I gotta work out and I gotta eat healthy and I gotta, that joy not big enough.
Mm.
That joy of seeing yourself in that light not big enough.
Mm.
And until it's big enough, and you think all I gotta, let me tell you something. I'm For those of you that don't know, I'm a DIYer. I'm Diamond Mind of DIY on Instagram and TikTok. You can follow me there, right? When it comes to these projects, I have so much passion that I'm willing to sit there and do things dot by dot.
That's right.
I'm willing to sit there and I'll start all over if I have to. I will pick,
Mhm.
glue off, do whatever I got to do, push, pull, lift, push down. I do all kinds of stuff to get
Mhm.
these things in order. I did a specific mirror where I had to go block by block, right? So when I had to do these block by block, it takes a patience I didn't know I had, right? So when you have a joy or a vision, you develop the patience needed to pursue that vision, right? Because the vision is so strong. I had to have that mirror. I had to build that mirror. And I had to have it in the way that I saw it. And so I stayed consistent with it. And the joy of the mirror made me develop the patience to put all those little things on one little thing at a time. I never thought I could do that. But once you get a vision that's strong enough, you can the patience will come in, the desire, you don't have it's endless desire because you see it strong. It's not an option. It's so big that it's not an option to take that off the table and not do it. You it's so the vision is so big that even if you have to start over, you're going to get this thing done because I'm going to get that. I'm willing to do that. And so you develop a lot of things along the way. And so if I looked at that, if I saw that mirror, right, and I said, oh, I would love to build that mirror. Oh, I would just love to have that mirror. And I said, but then I got to take the bricks and then I got to glue them all together. But then I got to trace the thing out and then I got to wipe it down and then I got to add the bling and then I got to add the ice and then I got to glue this and then that didn't work and then I got to add the beach and then I got to and then I got to and get it. That I never considered none of that.
Ooh,
I was
that's
like, oh, what can I do next?
mm.
Oh, add blank. What else is
Mm.
missing? So, oh, I'm gonna add this. One by one, I got it there. Every day, I put a little bit at a time because not doing it, I took that off the table. I don't care if I came home late. If I gotta put one piece of bling on, I'm putting something on towards it. You gotta be willing to do at least one thing towards your vision every day. And guess what I saw? Manifestation is beautiful. Go see it. Diamond Miner DIY. And so I put it out there and it's like it felt so rewarding that I saw a desire become a manifestation. And then I saw all the work that I put into it that in the beginning I never even considered would be hard because I was so focused on the vision.
That's
It was
right.
hard. It
Mhm.
was hard. It was a lot of work that went into it. No lie, it was a lot of work that went into it. But when I saw the vision, that's all I had in my mind. I
Mm.
never once considered it would be hard to do
Mhm. Mhm.
because of the passion, because of the joy. So that's what we have to do with our vision. We have to have that vision so clear, so in focus that all that I got to do is not even a part of your normal way of thinking. You just do it. Even when I wanted to lose the weight, I was in it. Let me tell you something. When I wanted to lose the weight, going to bed without working out was not an option. I
Mhm.
was in that gym at 11:30 at night,
Mhm.
tired, but
Mhm.
I needed to I had committed myself to putting in a certain amount of work every day. And so 11:30 at night, I was drained from the day. Well, oh well, I'll learn how to reschedule myself next time.
Mhm.
If I don't want to be in the gym at 11:30, then I need to start getting up early or doing something towards the middle of the day. But me working out after deplete, that wasn't working. So I had to change some things so that I'm not in the gym at 11:30 at night trying to push myself to do it. But you know what was ahead of me? My results.
Yes.
And then once I start seeing me being a little chisel, it gave me a little more energy to do. I pushed past the pain. Then I got to the point where if I wasn't in pain at the end of my workout, it wasn't enough. I was saying no pain, no gain. Like I could still walk. It's not enough. What was I trying to do? I had so much discipline for that because of the results I wanted. I was determined to fit into some outfits. I had a piece of clothing that was beautiful and I wanted to wear it. And I knew I had to get down to wear it. And you would think, go and buy a bigger size. Why would I go out and buy a bigger size? And what's the word I'm looking for? Where I want to stay comfortable in what I said I didn't want. So I allowed myself to use that as some sort of motivation in order for me to see it through versus going and accommodating what I said I didn't want. We have to get to a point where we grabbed it. It was a point of grabbing anything I could to help me get to that result. Right? You grab anything you could. I used a simple outfit as a handlebar to say, I'm going to fit into that. To help me get past having to work out in the gym 2 hours every day and then having to change the way I eat. To the point where in the beginning, it was rough, but you know what happened? It became a lifestyle for me where working out wasn't nothing anymore. I wanted to do it, even if my stomach could hurt, I broke my back, I still did stuff. I literally broke my back at the time, Dr. Toni. But I still was like, okay, well, I'm going to put some support and I'm going to get in there and do what I got to do. As soon as I could breathe, I got up and I did some work. I risked it all to break it again. I got in there and did the work. I could have broke my foot. I would have hopped on the other one.
Yeah.
But we was going to get this workout in.
Right.
Because once you see a little bit of results, it fuels you. It fuels you to keep going. And that's what we need in order for us not to be tired. We need to see some results. We need something to speak back to us in order for us to feel like we're doing the right thing. Nobody wants to keep scratching the same thing and they're not seeing nothing. That's like scratching a cement wall with your nails. It like you will look at it and be like, and you don't even know what's on the other side of that wall. That's the problem. When you're scratching a cement wall with your nails, not knowing what's the other side of that wall. But let me tell you what a different perspective would be. Scratching the wall with your nails, knowing that your freedom is on the other side. You will take all it takes to scratch your way out of that if you knew your freedom was on the other side. That was the one wall to your freedom. You'll take your nails and keep scratching. You'll say at some point it's gonna make a dent. You know, and that's the kind of thing you have. But if you don't know what's on the other side, that unknowing is what keeps us to stale, stagnant, and stuck because we don't know what's waiting for us. So then we have to develop a vision that will hold us, even if you feel delusional. Develop something that will hold you like, okay, if I'm going on the other side, then there must be love on the other side. We don't know, but hold on to that. Take whatever you can. There's wealth on the other side. There's business, there's passion. Take whatever you can and hold on to it. That is your outfit in order for you to do the work. You're not going to bed without giving to yourself. You're not going to bed without working out in your mind and in your spirit. You're not going to eat to sabotage the work you just did.
Yes.
So you're not watching things that's going to bring your spirit down. That's like eating and sabotaging your workout. You've been getting all this mental breakfast, but now you're going to watch something that's going to depress you.
Yes.
You're not counteracting your work no more. And so you begin to develop a system that allows you the ability to have a desire and to have the passion that you need to do the work in between, and then to have the manifestation. Back to you, Dr. Toni.
That was so beautifully said, Tichet. Ah, my God, that was so beautifully said. Attractive thinkers, I trust that you have captured these gems, that you were taking notes while Tichet was just sharing that beautiful message, because there were a lot of gems in there. I was writing down my own notes as fast as I could. So You said as soon as you stop, the mind snatches you back to the way things used to be. I was paraphrasing, but you said as soon as you stop, and that stood out to me. It took me on a different kind of path, or should I say, it took me deeper, put it that way. Same path, just deeper. So as soon as you stop, what does that mean? That means that we have to consistently put up resistance, or we're going to be pulled back to the way things used to be. That means in order to stay in consistent resistance to the things that you don't want, you have to stay awake and you have to stay focused. You have to keep the goal ever before you. See, that is helping to develop the joy that you were talking about, Tichet. We're going to get to that joy. That helps in developing the joy that makes the joy bigger than the limitations of where you are right now. So we have to stay in a state of resistance, keep the goal ever before us. And in order to stay in a state of resistance, it takes strength to do that. You have to be mentally strong to keep thinking a positive thought when that negative thought is the one that you're comfortable with, the one you've been thinking about for years. You got to stay awake, you got to stay conscious, you got to stay focused, so that you're aware when the negative thought pops up, and you can apply the positive thought until you begin to think positive, more positive than you think negative. And that takes consistency. That's all it is. It doesn't take magic. You don't need a miracle. Just be consistent and see what that produces in your life. Just be consistent. And in order to be consistent, you have to trust that consistency works. Like
Mm-hmm.
Tasha said, you have to trust that on the other side of this, you're going to get the result that you're looking for. Another thing I wrote down, Tasha, is sometimes resistance releases ideas and the way out. See, you don't have to know the way out all of the time. Just knowing that you're done, that's half the battle. Just knowing
Mm-hmm.
that you're at your limit and you can't do that anymore, that's half the battle. That is the beginning of this joyful result and outcome. That is the beginning of change, the change that you're looking for. So, knowing that you can't do it anymore, that's the first step. Some people don't even get to that place. They were like, "What you talking about? I'm stuck. Stuck where? I'm just doing the same thing I did yesterday." You know, and you're not happy. You're complaining. You're doing the same thing you did yesterday, and you're complaining like you did yesterday. So you're stuck. That's what stuck looks like. Tishat, you really said some things that I feel as though attractive thinkers need to highlight in their notebooks today. You said take that joy and make it big enough, make it so big that, and I paraphrase at the end, that the limitations lose their focus and impact on you. Your joy is so big, and you gave a scenario which reminded me of like when I'm renovating a room. And I'm so you know, when you're renovating a room, you pick out new lamps, you pick out carpet, you pick out curtains, you pick out shower curtain hooks, or whatever room you're renovating. And you're excited to put all these parts and pieces together because you have a visual of what that's going to look like as a result. That's joy. That's enough excitement to make you jump out of the bed in the morning and get started on that project. That's enough joy and excitement to keep you, to make you stay up until it's finished. That way you're not procrastinating, dragging your feet and humming and hawing. That right there, that's enough excitement. If you can take that joy right there and apply it to this situation that you're facing right now and develop a vision of that kind of joy in this situation that you're facing right now, that's enough energy right there to pull you forward to making the change, to making things, to making your life look like what you want it to look like, to make your time look like what you want it to look like, how you want to spend it. That's enough joy right there to make that happen. So, for example, when I'm renovating a room, I'm so excited that, like Tasha said, I don't consider the fact that I have to pull the whole carpet up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not thinking about that. And I'm gonna tell you something. You realize how much effort you had to really exert and how many hurdles you had to overcome when you finish the product and you sit down and you can't feel your legs.
Mm,
You know, you have put forth some effort and some energy. You have climbed some mountains and went through some rivers and valleys to do that. But at the time, you didn't consider the mountain. It was
mhm.
just something that you had to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Think about that. When you don't have a bigger vision for the future and the results that you want, you view a mountain as something that can stop you versus something you just have to get out of the way.
Mhm.
So think about that, attractive thinker. And I trust that you are really capturing these gems because you're going to need them this week, today, next week, while you're working on your goals. You're going to need them because you never know what's going to pop up and try to stop you from moving forward. You said this is how clear the vision has to be. What I see ahead of me is my incredible results. That's what I see when I'm renovating a room. All I see is the incredible results. I don't see the
Mhm.
fact that I dropped a screw that I can't find and I have to go get another one and hope it fits. I don't see that.
Yes.
I don't see the fact that instead of a Phillips screwdriver, I'm standing up on the ladder with all everything that I need to hang this particular thing, and I don't consider the fact that I'm all the way up on this ladder. I thought I had everything, and instead of a Phillips screwdriver, it needs a hex screw. So what do you have to do? That means you got to come all the way back down that ladder and go get the right tool and then go all the way back up when you said all I got to do is screw this and I'll be done, and you end up
Mhm.
going up and down the ladder 3 or 4 more times. You
Mhm.
don't consider that because all you're thinking about is getting finished, hanging the thing, or placing the curtain or whatever it might be. You don't consider any of that. You don't consider how tired you are. You even forget to drink and go to the bathroom. You forget to drink water to
Yes.
the bathroom when you are in your zone, when you are in that joy, when that joy is just dangling there. Oh, how beautiful this is going to look when I'm finished. And
Mhm.
that's what we need to say when you're moving forward and changing your life from and shifting from what you don't want to what you do want. Oh, how beautiful this is going to feel when I make this change. Oh, how
Mhm.
much more peace I'm going to have when I make this change. Oh, how much more aligned my life will be. Oh, how much more things will flow. Oh, how much more opportunities will come to me when I make this change in my life. We got to build that up and make that image bigger than the scary monster image. And that's what's going to help us cross that bridge into the change that we want for our lives and step out of what is no longer serving us,
Yep.
step out of what we're tired of. That's what's going to help us do it, attractive thinker. I want to wrap up Tichet by saying you said once you see a little bit of results, it gives you the gas that you need, the energy that you need. All you need is a tiny bit of results. And that's motivation. It inspires you to keep going because if you see a little light ahead, if you keep going, that light's going to get brighter.
Mhm. And
You know,
bigger.
say that again.
And bigger.
And bigger and
Mhm.
bigger. What if I was saying to myself, what if attractive thinkers can't see the joy ahead of them? And then you came right behind my thought and you said, once you see a little bit of results, it fuels you. So if you can't see the joy ahead of you, you said to Shed, you said, grab anything that you can to help you get past the limits to the results. There's something in your environment right now that you can use to spark. It's like a match to spark some joy. And if you can get a little bit of joy flaming in your life, know that where joy is flaming, even if it's a flicker, there's a whole bloom, a whole bountiful reservoir of joy in that same area.
Mhm.
I want you to think about that. If you can get it to flicker, you can get it to flame. I want you to think about that. There is joy on the other side of you making this change in your life. There is joy on the other side of you making this change in your life. Things are going to get better. There is greatness. There is favor. There are open doors. There are blessings and opportunities on the other side of you making this change in your life. And you have to stir that up within yourself. And you have to believe that every single day. And you have to keep steering your focus back to your goal. You get distracted, but keep steering your focus back to your goal until you get there, because you're going to get there with consistency. That's how you're going to get there, with consistency. I want to leave you with this thought, attractive thinkers. Tichet, you said if you knew your freedom was on the other side of that wall, you would scratch through a concrete wall. That's saying a lot. That hit me in a different way today when I heard you say that, because everybody knows, you can anticipate how long it could take a person to scratch through a concrete wall. But I wonder what would humanly possible, what would be humanly possible if that person knew that their freedom and everything their heart desired was on the other side of that wall. What could we be capable of? Dr. Toni Hatton here. Tell our audience how they can get in touch with you. Give us some final comments if you have any, how they can get in touch with you, the visual encourager.
Absolutely. I just want to remind everybody to make sure that you are taking care of you in the midst of all of this. And know that you don't have to stay where you are. If
Mhm.
some of you are looking for a word that says, okay, I need a word to move, or I need a word to make the change, that was your word right there. Look at this episode over and over again, whatever you need to do to fuel you in order for you to reach manifestation. It is your manifestation time, and we support you on your journey along the way. You can find me on my website at www.visualencouragement.com. We provide mental support for movers and shakers, for trailblazers, pathfinders, and groundbreakers. All of you visionaries who desire to move mountains but need help lifting the heaviness so that we can create a new vision for yourself. Go to my contact us page, put in your information, let me know how I can uplift you, enlighten you, and encourage you so that you can live a life of fulfillment beyond the break. Again, that's www.visualencouragement.com. See you soon.
Awesome. Attractive Thinkers, remember to get your copy of the Attractive Thinker Experience on Amazon today. This 726-page transformational experience is a game changer. You'll always want to refer to this resource while you are pursuing your goals, overcoming challenges, transforming your life, whatever it might be. Visit our website, theattractivethinker.guru, and get your free gifts there. We have several free gifts for you there. I want you to remember this message. Like Tichet said, listen to it again. Listen deeply, and you'll discover more gems there and resources and answers to help you move through what it is that you're facing right now. Dr. Toni Hatton, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at theattractivethinker.guru. Our life's work, that's to make your life better. Remember, it is not what you're going through, it's how you're viewing it. Think attractively, and we'll see you soon.